Okay, so this is for Art 30B for patterns part 2, because I had a part 1 where you just basically went to object and created your pattern from here and then you created swatch. Okay, there's an issue with that. It's only really good to use, especially if you're going to use objects in Illustrator, but if you want to export them and use them for, let's say, wallpaper or t-shirts or anything like that, and you want like a continuous pattern you can save and use whenever, it's really important to do this method. So there's multiple ways to create patterns. You can create patterns in Photoshop and of course in Illustrator. Also, like in video games, like Animal Crossing has a way you can create a pattern. So let's start with just dragging our shapes in here. Actually, let me show you something. I think this is really important. So let's go to File, New. Okay, so instead of inches, so this is for the previous one, but we're going to go to points, and then we're going to go 500 to 500. You can go to 1000 to 1000. It doesn't really matter. But honestly, if you're going to go to 1000 to 1000, make sure how many inches that's going to be. So this is 6 by 6 inches. Let's go to 1000. 1000 to 1000. And how many inches is that going to be? That's going to be 13 inches. So let's do that one. Points. Okay, CMYK color is really good, especially if you're going to print. If you're going to just use this online, you could just go to RGB. Okay, this is fine for high quality. And make sure it's on points. And click OK. I know my OK button is down here. But yeah, that's an issue. Okay, so I'm going to go and grab my shapes, and I'm going to move them along right here. So this is from an assignment we did. I think it was like the second week. Yes, it's where we arrange planets and patterns. So I'm just going to start from the center. It's better to start from the center and then start like don't worry too much about the planets being the wrong size. It's fine. Don't worry too much. Because they're gonna basically go everywhere. Okay, so there you go. These are just circles. When you have more complicated patterns like the flowers, that's when you run into bigger issues with organizing them, overlapping. But when you have like geometric shapes, it's a lot easier for people to organize. Okay, so I'm going to add some fillers. So the stars are going to be my fillers. They're going to be the most prominent thing in our patterns, and also I'm going to change their sizes. So I'm going to vary their sizes here, and also going to change where they're going. I'm not going to make them all that big because they're stars. They're supposed to be small and cute. Make this one upside down. They're really easy to move around. Let's make this one a good size. Okay, yeah, my cat is hungry. I'll have to feed her. I know, you're hungry, right? I'm sorry. Yeah, she's mad at me right now. It's Chispa. Chispa! Stop being mad at me. Okay. So let me just organize this the best I can. Okay, the sun is on fire. I mean, not the sun is on fire. Oh, the sun is on fire. I mean, Earth is also on fire. Okay, that's typical. Okay, you also should concern yourself with color. add like it's just if you have similar colors, it's going to be really hard to separate your color schemes. So I'm going to move this one here. It's okay if you go over the edges. Actually, that's really helpful if you do eventually do this. Go. This one needs a little bit of variety. All right, and I'm going to make Jupiter. I'm going to make a small Jupiter here. And I'm going to move Earth. I need some blue here, so I'm going to move Earth, rotate it a little bit more. This is pretty fun. It's like you don't really have to think too hard to create patterns. Let's make a smaller sun. Let's just make a smaller one. Okay. So let's just make them smaller too. I think it's too overpowering, and then Jupiter's a little too overpowering. It's like you have to balance where your patterns are going to go. What color are you going to balance with? Because there's a lot of blue here, so I need more blue here. You can also change the colors of certain objects. So let's change the colors of the stars. So I'm just going to be randomly picking, and I'm going to have a blue, a nice blue. And let's do a baby blue. So let's change it a little bit more, like blue, and then we can add some pink in there. So that's a lot better. So the more variety you have, the better it is for you to create a nice, beautiful pattern and to balance the whole thing. So let's add more stars and flip them around a little bit more. I think this one's okay, but let's just rotate it. Rotate. Okay, rotate. It's hard to rotate when you're so far away. All right. And then I'm going to actually make this one a nice pink color, very pastel. And then I'm also going to, let's see, just replace it. I'm going to replace some of the yellows in there, just to balance this a little bit more. And then we don't need that much yellow, to be honest. We need some, yeah, this is so much better. And then we're just going to make this one. Okay, so this looks way more colorful and more exciting. So that's really, really good. Okay, so now we're going to add some more planets on this side. So again, we already did the sun. Let's do Saturn. Okay, we have the direct. Okay, make sure you have the selection tool selected. There you go. And this one's going to go on top. Let's have this guy overlap a little bit. We're going to need some, I think, variety here. So let's make this one a little bit bigger. And actually, I'm going to move this one here. Jupiter's going to be more centered. Let's have Mars go towards the bottom right here. I think that's better. And then let's have, I think it's Mercury, yes, join us here just to add more balance. I want this one to be here, and I want this one to also, let's have a smaller version and flip it around and just balance it up. Just to be as random as you can and make sure you don't overlap, because overlapping is going to make things a lot harder eventually. And let's, this one's a little too big. There you go. This one's Mercury. So Mercury can go also this area. Okay, and then we can add one more planet, and I think having the nice blue bright planet. Yes. Okay, so again, you can arrange them however you want. You can actually fill in more with more shapes in between. That's completely fine. Just we're going to worry about these guys after that, but I'm going to add more stars. Let's add more stars here. Okay, the corner stars, and then have some more yellow. I'm missing some yellow. Okay, yellow. Be very careful where you place them on the border at this point. And let's peek. Oh, forgot to. Pressing Alt, drag it up here. Okay, corner. And I need a yellow, a red would be good. Okay, some red. And now I'm going to flip this one around. There you go. Actually, I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. Perfect. And actually, you know what? I'm going to make this one bigger and I'm going to delete this one. Okay, the reason why I'm trying to think a little bit ahead, you don't have to do that right now, but we're going to figure out. Okay, bring Saturn towards out. Corner. Make sure your shapes don't hit this. Okay, and then have some sun balance out here, and here. Okay, that's good. And I think this is going to cause a problem, but we can always fix it later on. Okay. So I'm going to pause and I'll be right back. Okay, so let's move on to the next section. Let me just put this in the center. Okay, here we go. Okay, this is pretty easy. Excuse me. You're going to basically have to create a marquee selection tool with the marquee selection with the selection tool. So click and then select whatever's on the edge right here. So let me show you guys. Okay. Make sure you go edit, copy, and then edit again, paste in place, and then you should group them. So right click and group. Excuse me, I've been having this La Croix. Makes me a little burpy. All right. And then remember, if you forgot the points that you set in the beginning of your file, it's 1,000 points. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. If you're not sure, you can always go to Artboard options and check right here. So let's cancel that. Okay, and then make sure you go back to selection, and on, I'm pretty sure it's on the X. Yes, let's add a space, shift plus, and then 1,000, and then press enter. So immediately whatever's on this side is going to be on this side. And you're going to see some overlap. If you want to adjust and fix things, let's just lock it. So lock whatever you have selected already, and there you go. So let me show you, for example, like this piece right here is cropped out here, but it brings it back right here. And when you have your continuous pattern, this is a really nice way of making sure your patterns are going to align perfectly. Okay, so actually I'm gonna move this one up here a little bit more. And okay, so this one's gonna stay, this one's gonna go away. Let's move it here. I think that's good. Mars has to go here. That's fine. And do we have anything left? We can actually, all right. So let's adjust. Okay, so whatever's locked, it's going to stay locked for now. And we could always readjust things to make them look a little nicer. There you go. Okay, so just leave it locked. Whatever you selected, whatever's left that's selected, you're going to have to copy and put over here. So like the same method. So let's go copy and paste it in place. And you don't need a group because it's the only thing that you sticking out here that you can select. Okay, so right here we're going to do the same thing. It's we're going to go minus instead of minus 1,000, where it's on the x-axis, like right axis. Sorry, axis. It's really hard to say. Okay, there you go. And then just press enter, and there you go. So all of these are going to be locked too. So let's lock. Okay, and if you want to add more, that's completely up to you. So see, this is going to be continuous on this side. Now we have to go from the very top, and you can already tell some things are going to interfere, and that's okay. So let's go from the top, select those, edit, copy, edit, paste in place. Right click and group, and we're going to go here and do the same thing. I think it's the y-axis. Yes, let's try this. If not, we'll have to jump to the x because I don't really remember. Okay, points, enter. Okay, yes, I was right. So it's on the y, so it's going to be on the very bottom. And let's lock it. So object, lock, selection, and whatever's on this side might have to get deleted or readjusted. So let's readjust Jupiter. Yeah, this guy. We can always make him a little smaller. Let's make him a little bit smaller. And there you go. What else do we need to have selected? Okay, I think that's it. Yes, so that's it for your patterns, and then we're going to start creating our blocks and double check if it works. Okay, so next we're going to mask and create a square, and remember, the more things you have overlapping, the easier you're going to have a better flow. If you could still tell it's like kind of tiled, we're going to have to adjust that. But for now, let's just practice. Okay, there we go. So let's unlock everything. And now we're going to create a rectangle. It doesn't matter what color. Let's do our best to adjust it to the square. If you see any unusual numbers, that means we're going to have to adjust it. So let's go to 1,000 points like before, and 1,000. Okay, and now it's as close to 500, so let's go round down to 500 points and 500. Also make sure this is not selected, because if you do that, then everything else is going to change every time you change. It's just going to cause any problems. It's not going to be exact. The coordinates are not going to be exact. Okay, so make sure everything's on lock too. Okay, so go to your selection tool, have a marquee, select them all, object, clipping mask, and make. So there you go. Now we get to test this. And let me just move over here. Okay, I'm going to click on this, press Alt. I don't think I can move this. Let's see. Okay, we're going to have to copy, and paste. Paste in place. And there you go. You're going to have to select the border. And you don't have to have it exact. Oh, okay, there you go. There you go. Make sure the border is selected. So see? Yeah, sometimes with the masking, I forget to just select the border because you're not going to get everything else selected. So let's do it again. This is a really nice pattern. I think it worked because I overlapped. I didn't complicate like everything. If you have more complicated shapes, that's where you're going to run into issues. You might need to adjust things and then start over, overlap more on the edges. Okay, and I'm going to go bring this one here, and then you don't have to get it exact. We're just going to, this is a preview. Okay. And I'm going to undo it, but I just want to see how it looks as a white background. So see, this really nice flow. I might have to add some stars here on these empty spaces. Just keep note of that if you want to. I know this other artist that I'm watching her work, she likes to, you know, put circles on her issues or like write them down. She can just write down like, okay, between Jupiter and this shape, or just like add another shape on top. Right here. Oh. Okay, so yeah, that's kind of hard to do, especially when you have all these objects. So let's try again. Fill, stroke, let's add a little bit more punch in there. So here would be a good area, maybe like a little bit of here, but not a lot. Those are the only issues I see. Okay, and okay, maybe we don't have Saturn too close together. I don't like how this is because it's kind of repeated. So yeah, I might have to change how Saturn is placed, or I might switch Saturn, take Saturn out. So let's actually do this. Okay, and oh, didn't show. Oh, because I didn't have a stroke. Here. Okay, so let's get rid of Saturn and replace it with something else. Okay, and as for the artboard, we're going to change it back to 1000. And keep your numbers as even as possible. You don't have to keep it 1000, you can keep it by 100, but 1000 is a lot easier to deal with, or 500, so just keep it fine. Okay, we're going to get rid of these. And this one. Okay, so, okay. And make sure it's aligned 500 points. Actually, that didn't work out. Oh. Okay, yeah, that didn't work so well. I might have to align it. There you go. By ourselves. This is actually, when you add more shapes to it, it's actually going to interfere when you start adjusting. So just keep that in mind and do the very best with aligning it. Okay, now we're going to release the mask. So object, flipping mask, release. Okay. So we're going to get rid of, I'm going to ungroup, and we're going to get rid of Saturn. And I know, which is really sad because I like this one. Why is there another mask in here? Check. Release. Okay, there you go. So there was another mask in there. So I want to get rid of this. Ungroup. Delete this one. I'm going to replace it with a different one. Okay, and then I'm going to add here. So what should we add here? That's not Saturn. Let's add something blue. Really like, it's a lot of nice contrasting colors here. And I'm also going to flip this one around and make it a little bit bigger. Okay, erase that, get rid of this. Okay, edit, copy, paste in place, and we don't have to group it since it's by itself. We're going to get rid of Saturn, and what we're going to do is, let's do -1000. Shift, minus, oh, shift, actually, it doesn't need a shift, it just needs a minus, and press enter. Okay, there you go. And that should work. And then here we're going to put Mercury. Mercury is a really good safe, it's gray, it's a neutral color. All right, and we're going to add a nice yellow star here. And again, you can adjust it, flip it around. Okay, we can get rid of this. And then we're going to do the same thing over and over until you get it right. Rectangle. There. Okay, 500. Perfect, perfect. Let's see. And 1000 also. Enter. Okay, we're going to get rid of the stroke. We don't need that. Okay, and we're just going to have a fill. And if you want to have a background color, feel free to do that. Let's just go crazy bright color. Why not? And actually, oh yeah, okay. So I think because I took the stroke out. So if you take a stroke out and you see like this white area on the border, make sure the coordinates are correct. So width and height. Okay, perfect. So now it fits correctly. And then we're going to select everything, object, clipping mask, and make. Okay. And we're going to duplicate. So select on the border, press Alt. That's easier. There you go. We're going to go and select wall, clipping mask. So you only have to do the like 3 tiles this way and then 2 tiles down. So that's a really good way to see what's happening on the top and then what's happening on the sides. So there you go. I think this turned out really well. And now you're ready to export everything. First, don't forget to save. And I'm gonna actually move on to the next step.